She is one of my characters, but we are unfortunately not yet on a first name basis. I couldn't come up with a name. Maybe you guys can help me. Okay, cool. This is so stupid. I hate this challenge. Oh, hi there. Don't move. I'm gonna sell that online. Picture of a very desirable individual. Look at you. You know what? Let me get a couple more. I'm sorry. So I was on TikTok the other day and I came across this really cool art challenge. I saw it and I was just like, I gotta try this. This seems like such a fun thing to do. Let me just show you guys that video.
So let me teach you guys about an amazing drawing method known as automatic drawing. Automatic drawing is basically the practice of letting go and changing your blank state that allows you to flow on the paper and open up. Take out a piece of paper and any drawing utensil and just start with no idea in your head of what you're about to draw. Just keep drawing and don't stop until the paper's filled. It doesn't matter what you draw, just focus on the flow and relax your mind. This is a practice that all great artists such as Mobius, Jack Kirby, and many others have been known to do, as it helps prevent burnout and refreshes the mind. When I do this, I feel like a kid again, creating without a care in the world. In the end, your drawing doesn't have to look like anything at all. Just enjoy the process of creation in its purest form.
Yeah, so this looks like a lot of fun, and I've been working in my sketchbook recently, so I wanted to try this out and see what I can come up with, what my brain is gonna vomit onto the paper. And I wanna show you guys this process because it was a lot of fun. So I first started off with a bit of a test run. And as you guys can see, here's my train of thought. I started in the top left corner, it came over here, turned into a bit of a skull, a person, an elephant, a wing, and I was like, okay, cool, this is so stupid. I hate this challenge. But I was like, you know what, we're gonna give it a fair shot. So I came down here, curving lines, turning into a knight and a castle at the side of a cliff, some clouds, all the way down, more skulls, portraits, kind of like samurai armor over here, more portraits. Man, when I tell you, I did not like this at all. Like, I can kind of see the appeal of doing this, where you turn off your brain and you kind of just go on autopilot, and maybe that helps you loosen up a bit and makes you realize, hey, I can draw. Or the opposite. You realize you can't draw anything, speaking from experience. But I think this page made me realize that I tend to gravitate towards faces and characters. So in my next study, let me just show you guys that real quick. This one, I think actually turned out a lot better. So I know this challenge is supposed to be called automatic drawing, but for me, if you let me go on autopilot, things don't end well. So I decided to just play more into the things that interested in me a little bit more. Some more portraits here, some character work, you've got a knight's helmet, my sleep paralysis demon. So I love this, and this really got me thinking, and I came up with an art challenge from this, and I want to share that with you guys right now. So I really wanted to get this right, but I found that for me, being someone who was a little bit in the head, drawing just a bunch of random things, shapes, and whatever comes to mind, it doesn't work. It doesn't interest me at all. It doesn't grab my attention. It doesn't produce anything that I'm like proud of. And I know that probably isn't the goal of the automatic drawing challenge, but I don't care. I do things my way. I decided I'm gonna go with the same kind of approach, not knowing exactly where I'm gonna put things, not knowing what's the next thing I'm gonna draw. I'm gonna use the same approach, but apply it to a theme. So I chose my first theme, which is Lynn, my OC, and her world. So this could be anything that inhabits her world, the characters in her world, maybe scenery from this world, and that's the theme, okay? So automatic drawing with a theme. You can see her portrait up here. I started off with the portrait and I decided to kind of just let these lines flow into these other elements on the page. Basically following the exact steps of that TikTok, just going from one thing to the next and not really planning anything out and just going with the flow. And I found this to be so much more interesting. And it's almost like a brainstorming session for things that you might see or find in this character's universe. So much more interesting than just drawing random things. No offense to people who draw random things, but we probably just on different parts of the spectrum and won't get along. So this is almost like an abstract way to kind of flesh out a world, and I actually really enjoyed it. So I did one more. And oh my goodness, this turned out better than I remembered. So same thing, we started off in the top left with a portrait of Lynn. This is her universe. These are gonna be characters or monsters or things you're gonna see in her universe. And for those of you who don't know, the kind of idea behind her is that she's a warrior, part of this ancient organization of demon hunters based out of a fictional ancient China. We're talking like a mix between the Han and the Tang dynasty, but that's the concept, okay? So you have the character and then you have the monsters, right? The demons that she's got to fight. She travels through the countryside, and every village she comes upon might have its own problems. You might see big boys like this guy right here in the top right corner who's just brute strength, but there might also be more sinister demons who disguise themselves as people, and they might seduce people of power and subjugate the common people. So every village, every city she goes to, there's a different story, there's a different set of challenges, and sometimes there might be villagers who don't even want her help because they worship the demon that's been a part of their village for hundreds of years. That's kind of the gist of it, right? I finish one subject, I move on to the next, and what's the most fun about this is that you don't plan out where your subjects are going to go. You don't know where things are going to end up. For the most part, I draw a curved line down and I'm like, that looks like the back of a dragon, so in the center I decided to create the face of a dragon because that's what I was thinking of in the moment. And of course we are thinking within the theme of her world, this universe, and this whisker of the dragon coming out of the side and winding its way up like that reminded me of a river. So I drew some mountains and some clouds in the background. Wow. Creativity. It's also so fun to kind of just let loose without any references, without any guides, and all of these lines kind of just flow out of your hand. They start flowing downwards and they connect into these other shapes, and those shapes might remind you of something, and that becomes the next thing that you're going to draw. And we've got some portraits of characters here too. This is like a warrior, and maybe he's a soldier in one of these armies. This could be a court noble at the bottom. This may be a military commander type of character who's under the grasp of a seduction demon. I don't know. The final design almost looks like a tattoo. It's kind of cool in that way, especially with the shading and everything, and with this almost abstract but still representational kind of look. And I thought to myself, why don't we try a second theme with another character of mine? So you guys might have seen this armor wearing warrior that I've been drawing in the past little while. She is one of my characters, but we are unfortunately not yet on a first name basis. I couldn't come up with a name. Maybe you guys can help me. But I wanted to do a piece that's kind of more based in this fantasy, medieval, ancient European culture kind of world, where you follow quite a few characters around, kind of Game of Thrones style, and there's a lot of political intrigue, infighting, family stuff. Your brother betrays you and stabs your uncle's nephew's niece, and then your character's like, whoa, dude, that's my second cousin's best friend. How dare you do this? I will go to war with your family. Anyways. So this is a bit different. I just drew the red-haired character's portrait right in the center, and then right around her, you've got a dragon. This is that dragon lady. I don't know if you guys remember that painting that I did of a dragon lady. They're going to be in the same universe, of course. And one of the visual concepts that I kept coming back to here was just the image of an iris. Because in my mind, in this world, things that are really important are family connections. And what defines family connections might be the color of your eyes and the color of your hair. It's kind of like an Elden Ring, where a family, a bloodline, might be known for their red hair. So that's kind of why I kept coming back to this eye motif. Anytime a shape turned a little bit round, I was just like, ooh, that could be an iris. Good. But we've got royalty, we've got queens, princesses, we've got warriors and knights, dragons, wolves, might be a dire wolf, might be a werewolf. I don't even know. And in the bottom left corner, there was a wiggly line that reminded me again of a river. So I decided to incorporate a map, kind of like your classic illustrative fantasy map that you might see on a really nasty yellowed piece of parchment with very suspicious stains on it. And when I made the adjustment to give myself a theme and work within a certain world, it just made the process so much more fun for me and also more relaxing at the same time, because I wasn't too worried about the final outcome. As long as things were kind of clumped together in the center of the page, I was happy with whatever output I was going to get. And I think having this kind of approach really just allows you to let your imagination run wild, because you're not supposed to stop drawing. So say you're building out a world and you don't really know what's the next thing in this world that you want to draw. Well, you can't stop, so you got to come up with something. So it really forces you to just think on the spot and come up with these crazy designs that you might not have actually been able to come up with if you were to actually sit down and really try to plan it out. So I love this challenge for that. It feels like a really quick and loose way to just brainstorm things about your character, your world. So I guess my version is not like a fully automatic drawing challenge, it's more of a semi-automatic It's a rifle now. Okay. But I was just trying this out and I was so happy with it and I love the results that I wanted to share it with you guys. And maybe if you feel like you're in a rut, you don't know what to do, or you're trying to build out your own world and you just don't know where to take it next, you gotta try this out. Okay, try the semi-automatic drawing challenge. Actually, you know what? We're gonna call it the Sammy-automatic drawing challenge. So quick with it, huh? What can I do, huh? I'm sorry. On behalf of my ancestors, I apologize for ever being born. Anyways, there should be B-roll of the drawing process so you guys can see how it's actually made, but maybe I'll give you guys some longer versions of that. I don't know how this video is going to turn out. I just sat down to record it. I was excited about it. Hope you guys are as excited about it as I am. Each one of these pages took about 31 minutes for me, so it shouldn't be something that's going to take you all day. You know, just find some time, sit down, let loose. It's really calming. It's really meditative. Look at me. I have so much inner peace now. Sorry, I don't know why I'm doing, I don't know. God, stop it, Sam. That's it. I just want to share this process with you guys, and I've got a really exciting video shoot coming up with my tattoo artist. But you guys can look forward to that probably next week. And be sure to subscribe. If you haven't subscribed yet, I will sell your pictures, okay? I have your pictures. Check out my Patreon for monthly tutorials and process videos. I just uploaded 2 new wallpapers for your mobile devices, because all you kids got mobile devices nowadays. All you kids glued to your screens. Look at you right now, glued to your screen while you're pooping. Stop that. God, you filthy, dirty individual. Get